Hey guys, Mike here. So another nice red day on the market, more profit taking, and there are certain stocks that we'll work in, which we'll talk to. Obviously, Tesla being one of them, semiconductors not being one of them. We're going to look at that. So, key levels are coming up here to watch out for, and certain things are going to happen. And there's one thing that could flip this market around on its head. This pullback, which is all this is right now, which is normal. And that's some data coming out tomorrow, which we will talk about for sure. Also Thursday we'll have some, but I think that's definitely news that you can see do a quick turnaround. But we'll look at the index for sure so you can see what we're talking about, right? And say, okay, this is I have a level in there. I think there's no way we get through this level unless something crazy happens. I don't even think we get down to that level unless something were to happen. But it's kind of like I always say, have multiple levels marked out to the upside and downside, but especially the downside when you see stuff start to move down, because again, you pull out. On the weekly, we're in an uptrend. On the daily, we're in an uptrend. On the hourly, we're in a downtrend. Okay, and so you have to kind of look at that and say, when are we going to turn? And when we update this, you can see this is the futures chart we've been talking about since I guess it was either Thursday or Sunday's video. And so again, we're still pulling down. We broke that level I talked about on yesterday. And so here we are. What are we doing though? The fibs are powerful, right? We're bouncing off certain fibs, getting retracements, but again, are we going to make it down into that first shaded box? That's what we still got to figure out. There's a chance we don't, depending on what the data gives us tomorrow and where the market wants to head into this, how quickly they want to go into a year-end rally. Still assuming we're getting that, but you can see they moved us right up into that golden pocket fib area, got rejected from there, and away we went. All right, and I just did a whole members video on fibs and stuff where you can use them for swing trading, day trading, long-term investment. So we'll see if we're still going to make it down the area. That's still the target for now. Things can change, of course, as we always talk about. Don't be surprised. Obviously, if we get a move up tomorrow, we got to see what we break, right? We start moving up here, and all of a sudden, we get past certain levels, like around 21,489, and continue, and then maybe do a retest and continue higher. Don't be surprised if we get rejected, okay? Go back into the 50 fib, golden pocket, get rejected and start moving back down. Then obviously if we break 21,380.50, well, we're heading down lower, okay? And so that's what we're looking for. When you look at this on the indexes, one thing to watch out for is which one's going to be the stronger one, okay? You got the Qs, which has been the stronger one lately over the last week because the Mag 7 dipped down into what? This gap, which we've been talking about. Came back up, all right, sucked back up at the end of the day right there. And so what we're looking at here is, again, if we come down these levels right here, if we hit the gap, it's just going to bounce. You must guarantee it because you're going to come down to a major discount and it's going to bounce back up. Now, how far it's going to bounce is a whole different question is what we got to see, and that will depend on probably data tomorrow and Thursday. But when you look at the SPY, start paying attention to which one takes over. Which one is stronger? Does the SPY take back over? Because remember, the Qs were behind, the SPY was stronger. Or does the Mag 7 continue to push and push? And we'll talk about a couple of those today. But when you look, we're going to put this anchor VWAP. Here's the levels I would say this. Nobody has anything to worry about as long as certain things aren't broken. Okay? I like confluence, right? So if the market does continue to sell down, I say, wow, I got support here. I got the anchor VWAP from the election day, which where all this craziness started, moving up right there from August. I end up, if I pull down fibs, I can guarantee you I'm going to be sitting in a discount, okay? And so looking on the Qs, you kind of get the same thing, right? Over here, a lot of confluence, okay? Got the election date, anchor VWAP, major discount, got support it's coming into, got this trend line support as well right there. So again, as long as you don't break that level, like, we're good, okay? And that's not that big a move down. People think that's like some crazy, crazy move down. It is not. I don't even think we get there, okay? Unless something crazy happens with data coming out this week and the market just wants more blood, I don't really see it. But again, if we even pull more fibs up, so let's go down to this one where this rally started right here. And this is when the Qs started to really play catch up. Again, you still see the same thing. Major discount, same things are in place. Okay, and even some a fair value gap, a daily fair value gap's in place. Matter of fact, I think a weekly fair value gap's sitting right there too. And so again, a lot of confluence. That's where you got to worry about it if it breaks those. That's what you got to worry about. If you see confluence areas gets broken, that's when you need to worry. Okay. Now Tesla, keep this one real short. What did we talk about when I was talking about the video? I said they're running this up in after hours again. Expected to run up again. They're buying 400 calls. Bam. Exploded up. And you can see you got a double tap on 409.50 right there. So we'll go ahead and put a line right there. That's the next one. It needs to break to get to 414.18, which is all-time highs. As you can see, no matter what time frame we go down, that's where it got that rejection at. Came back down, but what they hold? They held 400. They held 400. I know people are loading up 400 calls again. It's almost like the only game in town in the options market right now, really. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I see other ones here. But again, you can look at this. Don't be surprised because why? NVIDIA, options love it. Not now. Still this head and shoulders going on. Okay, still the head and shoulders going on. And this is key right here. Really 144.35. Maybe even when you look at this, around, we pull that line up, that would be right around like 146.60. To get above that and close, it would be huge. Okay, and this thing can turn up at any moment. Don't be surprised if we even reach down to that neckline right there, if they try to fake everybody out and move this one up. Okay, but if it breaks that neckline, then blood's in the water. Okay, and again, this is NVIDIA, it's the AI king and all that fun stuff. So you see a lot of stocks moving up off no kind of fundamentals, right? Nothing but the Trump trade. That would be Tesla, that'd be Palantir, all of that stuff, right? We show the crazy amount of market caps they put on and the very little, if any, kind of revenue being increased, but that's what this is speculating on what it can do in the future. NVIDIA don't have a Trump trade, okay? And so if this comes down, again, you can see where the discounts are. Every time it hits that 50, it bounces back up. That's what happened today. But it's not just NVIDIA. Look at these things. I mean, it was red across the board for all of these. And the key is going to be, I think, Avgo is going to be one of them because they got earnings on Thursday. We've seen this formation play out many times, okay? Higher lows, but not setting higher highs. And so they have a great earnings, and the market wants to shove this up. It can drag everything else up with it. Okay, we've seen semis do this before, but you see AMD is a mess. It broke that trend line yesterday I told you about, continues to sell down, and a lot of others. So anyway, you look at Taiwan Semiconductor, they put out good news today. Didn't matter, okay? Now we talked about Google. We said, do they get the hot potato? They got the hot potato. Boom. They come out with some supercomputer thing. Yay, yay, yay. Boom. Huge move up. It did test this right here. If fake people are thinking it's going to go back and fill this gap, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it tested multiple times and held and moved back up. One thing Google has a history of doing is filling the gaps when it does gap up. I mean, if you just pull out on the chart, you can see it so many times. And so we're going to get to see, obviously, if it breaks that 186 mark, then we'll end up heading up to all-time highs. But right now, what you want to look at is to see if it's going to end up coming down, filling this gap. And you can see as I look at this, I mean, I'll point out multiple times. This right here is going to be your level you want to break right here. Let me put a line right there. 188.13. Once that breaks, all-time highs are probably going to come pretty fast. So, but looking at this, if it does break back down, obviously that trend line right there that broke above can be support. But when you look over Google's chart, you can see how many times it gapped up. And sometimes you got a couple of days run, and then it came back down to fill the gap, or sometimes it just came back down to fill the gap immediately. You can see them, I mean, there's like 10 on here I can spot very quickly. And so let's see what they bring tomorrow. Again, if the market wants to run tomorrow off the data we got coming out, then it's going to run, and Google's going to go run right along with it. So just watch out for that right there. And this, again, it got past the hot potato because it was below all-time highs, just like Microsoft, okay, just like Apple was. Now, looking at some of the ones that got some love on the red days. It was the Laggards. Dollar General down 71%. Boom, right? Dollar Tree. Like all these stocks that have been punished, right, end up coming up and getting some love today. I always like to look and see what's, green on those days. And they're starting to get a little love. You come over here to look at a travel stock in Airbnb, right? This is one of the ones, remember, the markets have been raging up. This thing right here is kind of like, just kind of stuck right here. But when you look at that, you can clearly see what's happening. It's getting wedged, right? It's getting wedged right here. And it's going to end up making this move. I don't think it's going to wait for earnings, so that's way off till February. But when you look at this right here, and what's cool about this one is you can pull up the volume range, volume profile on this thing and go to a weekly, and you can clearly see as this comes up, if this thing can get above 146.26 right there, then you can actually have a really good move. The question is the market going to be strong enough by the time this happens to continue to push this up? And you can't say no to it. And the reason why you can't say no to it, because let's be real about it. Did you ever think, and by the way, before I even bring the other stock up, real quickly, you see what happens if it breaks down, right? Boom. Like this thing breaks down, 118 right there. And it's going to come pretty dang quick. But anyway, I can't say no to it because look at this one. You got a freaking airline stock trading like a crypto freaking meme coin or something. Look at that. Straight up. 191%. in 84 days for an airline stock? Are you kidding me? You go back to the chart, you don't see it anywhere except on down. You see that, but coming up, you don't see that anywhere on this. Going back to 2006, it's an airline stock, and it's doing this. I mean, look at that. That's crazy, right? Now, IWM real quick, broke below the trend line, sucked up in it yesterday, remember? below this trend line right here, hit the 0.5 fib, bounced. Again, we've mitigated this daily fair value gap now. And this trend line obviously doesn't go that far back, to be honest with you. I can draw another trend line, which I don't think it's going to get to, but it depends on what this data says tomorrow. It depends on how it affects yields tomorrow. That's going to be a big one for this one because yields popped again today and put pressure on IWM once again. We'll put this in place just in case we get some kind of crazy data and the market just really, really hates and the bond market goes nuts and all that fun stuff. We'll put it on there. I'm not expecting to hit that at all, though. But looking at IWM, like I said, it's still kind of got this idea where, you know, can we break out? Yeah, but it can't break out until you end up having this 10-year yield start to cool down again or at least go sideways. Okay, you pull up the 10-year. I did a members video on this, and I put this trend line in place right there, the shorter term trend line where it had been getting rejected, and instead of rejecting it, it ended up breaking above it. And when that happened, that's what's causing some pressure on IWM. Again, it can go sideways as long as it don't reach a certain level, and IWM can go up. I put this other trend line in place because it rejected 4 times off of this trend line right here if we move down right there. So I want to see, is this going to come up here and either reject off that or break through that one as well? Okay, that's really key. And if that can start coming back down, especially if it comes down quickly, then you'll see small caps start to recover nicely, at least IWM, that is. Because you still got some small cap stocks that are going absolutely nuts, and then like quantum computing and things like that. But until this cools off, it's going to put pressure on IWM, and it's pretty much that simple. And again, what's the data tomorrow? CPI. If CPI comes in line, or the market loves it, and the bond market's cool with it, yields are going to drop. Okay. Now earnings, all you got Macy's and Adobe. Data we already talked about, but you do have some other stuff: core CPI, regular CPI, crude oil inventories, 10-year bond auction is going to be a big one. We just talked about the 10-year yield. Okay. So it'll be a nice, fun morning. Lots of volatility tomorrow for sure. Please hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Really appreciate that. Let me know how you guys are navigating this market. If you want to join the membership, there it is right there. Again, somebody said your marketing sucks. That's because I don't market there, buddy. That's the way it is. So anyway, have a good one, guys.